Hello, today is 11/1 of 25, and I am here with a video of what I eat in a day on my keto journey. If you're new here, my name is Christy. I changed my diet to a high protein, moderate fat, low carb diet in April of 2024. This morning around 11, I had my breakfast, which was my coffee, which I made with a half cup of Fairlife whole milk, a serving of whey isolate protein powder, and a serving of collagen peptides. I also had a donut, which is a gluten free, sugar free donut from a local bakery in my area called Conscious Comforts. And then we went out to lunch. We went to Red Robin. I had two burger patties with two slices of cheese. And for the side, I had a Caesar salad. And without any croutons, and really with I took most of the Parmesan off too. They use like big shavings, and I just don't like that. Um, so we had lunch and then I went to the gym and I did an arm and core workout, stability core. So 2 days ago, I went to the gym and I did a full body workout. And even while doing my workout, I knew I was working my legs quite a bit. So I kind of actually did cut back on what I was doing with my legs just because I knew I was wearing them out. I am still really, really sore in my quads. I way overdid it. I haven't done strength training for a while, and I'm just really surprised at how much it affected me. I I, I overdid it. So I'm sore. So I didn't do legs today. Yesterday I just did a bit of like walking around. I was actually at a volleyball tournament, so I was just doing walking around. I didn't actually go to the gym and I'm still sore today from 2 days ago. Okay, so it is now 4 o'clock, and I am getting ready to make my last meal of the day. I want to make waffles. I'm still working on like perfecting a waffle recipe, and I have one that I like the ingredients of, and so I really want to make it work. But every time I've tried it with a whey protein powder and it gets like dense and dry because of the whey. So I did a little bit of research and found that using a casein protein in baked goods or like a casein whey blend works out better. At least that's what people are saying. So that's what I'm going to try. I got some casein protein from bulk supplements. It's just the casein, like there's no flavoring to it. So I am going to mix it with some whey just to see what happens. So I'm going to use for the recipe, it calls for, I think it's like 26 grams of protein powder. So I'm going to use half of this Fit Crunch vanilla milkshake protein powder, which is a whey based protein powder. And then I'll use the other half of casein just to see how it works. Now, it is a recipe that I've tried before, except I didn't use these mix of protein powders, but I'll still walk you through making it. I have measured out a quarter cup or 55 grams of cottage cheese. I am using Good Culture cottage cheese. I'm going to add to this one egg, and I'm going to add in 13 grams of this whey based protein powder. Oh, I gotta get my measuring tool ready here. I just, I'm so glad to have this scale. Like, I don't really kind of know how I lived without it before. All right, so there's 13 grams, and then I'll get 13 grams of my casein. And then the recipe calls for a teaspoon of vanilla extract, but I'm going to actually use this vanilla bean powder. Um, I don't know why. I just want to use it. So, according to this package, if I can get it open, you use 1/2 of a teaspoon of this powder for 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And actually, I'm going to change that. I'm going to also use maple extract just because I want more flavor, particularly because that casein is unflavored. Um, so I want to use some maple extract too. So I'm going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of this vanilla bean. And then I'm going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of the maple extract also, which always makes a mess when I use this. Okay, And the reason I like the ingredients, like when I say, well, I really want this recipe to work because I like the ingredients, is because it's pretty much all protein. I mean, like there's some fat in the egg and the cottage cheese, but it's not a lot, which I don't really worry about the fat. But a lot of recipes are mostly fat. When you talk about like keto waffles, they're mostly fat, and I want to prioritize my protein. So that's why I like the ingredients in this recipe. Okay, blend it. Okay, I've got it blended, and what's interesting is it is quite a bit thicker than like when I've made it with just the whey protein powder. It's been fairly thin, and this is quite a bit thicker, so that's interesting to me. I think I need to put some oil on here. I should have done that before. My waffles are done. I had opened it too soon, so this one looks kind of funky, but they look good. They're kind of getting browned, so I'm gonna give it a try. It still has a bit of like whey feel to it. I'm gonna try putting, I've got some Hungry Jack sugar-free syrup on and just see like sometimes that it can kind of be masked when you like add that kind of a topping or like thing that goes with it. It definitely tastes more eggy. Like it does have a slight whey feel, but it tastes more eggy than like when I made it with all whey protein powder. I think I'm gonna try again, and I'm not gonna use any whey, just the casein, and see what happens. That is much better. Um, I think for the flavor, I just want to adjust it a little. What I ended up adding was a teaspoon of maple and a teaspoon of vanilla, but it does need a little bit more. And I think part of it is that it might need salt in there. But texturally, this is so much better. It feels much more like a waffle, and I can see that it could be made into a pancake also. So yes, definitely, I can make this recipe. I'll use the casein and just adjust the flavorings. Like maybe some cinnamon too would be good in there, but just even as is, it's just fine as like a plain waffle. So super excited about that. Couple things on the waffles. I did make another couple of batches. I wanted to have some for my kids tomorrow morning, and I tried it with adding the salt and the cinnamon, and it had a really nice flavor. This is going to be like a great waffle recipe. One thing to note is that with the casein, the batter is much thicker. Like it's almost the consistency of a cookie dough. So just kind of be aware of that if you try it and it looks like that. That's exactly how mine looked too. I didn't thin it out or anything. I wanted to see how the original recipe would just work, and it works great. Um, so after my waffle, I was kind of debating on whether I needed anything else or not. And I felt like I probably do, since I do feel hungry, because otherwise later I'm going to be like extremely hungry. So I decided to try a bagel. So this is from Sola is the brand, blueberry bagel. I'm not actually sure if I've tried these before or not. But I tried it. I put on about a half teaspoon of uh, butter and just sprinkled a little bit of cinnamon on top. Uh, I did like that. Like as far as the uh, texture of them, I liked it better than their plain. I've had their plain, and it was just like too soft, and just not quite right. But I tried the blueberry, and these are better as far as like the texture of them. They are closer to a traditional bagel than the plain Sola bagels. So that was nice. The flavor is pretty fake. It's just a fake blueberry flavor, which it isn't like, oh, I don't like that, but it's also not my favorite. However, if I were craving bagels, I think I would buy these again. I've tried the hero bagels, and that consistency is more of like a soft pretzel. So if I was really craving a bagel, I think I would actually get these over the other ones that I have tried, just because the consistency to me is much closer to a traditional bagel. And I actually only had half of a bagel. So I ended up with about 1,600 calories. My protein is 171. My net carbs are 17, and my fat is 82. So I'm in a caloric deficit of about 500 calories. I'll probably burn a couple more hundred tonight. So that's just fine. Maybe I'll see it tomorrow.